Hello, everybody. Welcome to the UNILIA Alumni of the Week series. My name is Losekeo Kitamula. I'm your host, and we're super excited because this is our first episode of the UNILIA Alumni of the Week series. And today we have an amazing guest. His name is Abel Chilenga. Abel Chilenga is a spoken word artist and is a writer. The good news is that Abel Chilenga has just released his new book, and what an amazing book. So we're going to talk about that book in this show, and we're going to talk about his journey at the University of Livingstonia and how it has impacted him and how it has changed his life to be a man who he is today. I'm super excited, and I hope you are as well. So stay tuned because we have some good content coming your way. So how are you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing good.
Doing good.
Super excited to have you here.
I'm very excited as
And,
well.
yeah, it's good to meet in person. It's
Exactly.
good to meet in person. Just been seeing your content, but it's so amazing to have you close by so that we can have a conversation. So, can you please introduce yourself?
All right. First and foremost, I just have to say thank you for having me here now. So my name is Abel William Chilenga.
Yes.
Yes, I'm a graduate from UNILIA.
Yeah.
I did my Bachelor of Science. So yeah, I graduated in 2021.
Oh, okay.
That's all I can say.
So you did environmental management.
Environmental management.
Wow, beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. Tell us about your time at UNILIA. How was it? What are some memorable experiences that you had?
What I would say, I really thank God for giving me that grace to be at UNILIA. UNILIA to me, I consider it as a paradise
Wow.
where I have a lot of stuff that I can say about UNILIA.
Wow.
UNILIA has got me. UNILIA has made me to be a man. UNILIA,
Yeah.
I have a lot of memories about UNILIA. So if I may say everything about UNILIA, then you can also turn into a book. But all in all, I would say, of course, there may be positive and negative stuff, but main I would say are positive things. And in terms of education, in terms of I made some friends, you and other people.
Yes.
I have a fun just
Yeah.
because we're in it.
Amazing,
Yes.
amazing. So, how did the programs at UNILIA impact you to be the man you are today and to be in the current role or to be in the current industry that you are in today?
One thing that I've noticed is that UNILIA is one of the best universities
True.
in Malawi, in
Yeah.
Africa, even the whole globe at large.
Yeah.
And the courses, or I would say the programs that they give at UNILIA, they're
Yes.
so impactful.
Yeah.
Imagine now, I as well, I myself, I did environmental management,
Yeah.
and there's a lot that is outside the world that needs people who did the program like that I did, and the knowledge that I gained from UNILIA has helped me to bring change, even from my family, to my society, into my society,
Yeah.
and I believe that it will even change to the whole globe.
Yes.
So there's a lot that I can say how UNILIA has impacted me in terms of the academic.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I can say.
Ah, great. So we have to talk about your amazing book.
Yeah.
By the way, this is an amazing book. I personally read this book.
Yeah.
I read it yesterday, just yesterday, and just the moment when I started reading it, I couldn't put it down because it's a lot of insights here, and it speaks a lot of what is happening and what I experienced. So let's talk about your book. This is an amazing book, by the way.
Thank you.
And the amazing thing is that most of the things that we are going to talk about on this show, the UNILIA Alumni of the Week series, some of the topics are covered in this book. So this will be a textbook as well. So uh, let's discuss your journey after graduation and what you have been up to now.
Right. So after graduation, of course, there were a lot of stuff. I stayed at home doing an application for jobs, and by the grace of God, I was having some opportunities of internship with some organizations, and I also had my first job where I was working as an environmental sector officer with a certain construction company in Nigeria. So there I've also learned, I've also contributed what I learned from UNILIA.
Yeah.
So I'll say, yeah, that's how I say how my journey was after graduation.
Yeah. So what is your book all about? Because this has come in after college, and
Yeah.
you have shared a lot of experiences that people people really need to know
Yeah,
about, especially people who are students right now,
yeah,
and people who have recently graduated, of course.
yeah, yeah.
So what's your book all about?
So I should go back to UNILIA
Yeah.
when I was in third year. I had a very good friend
Yeah.
who graduated, and the time that he was graduating, that time I was
Yeah.
in third year.
Okay.
So after him graduated, he called me. I was like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So we started to have discussion there. So I asked him a question like, how is the world? How is the industry?
Yeah.
So this guy was smart. He was very good, and he later said to me like, man, I think when we are there at college, sometimes we do have a fantasy in our mind that once we go outside, we are going to have a house, we are going to have a wife. You know, those kind of fantasy things. But he himself was like, man, the world is different. The world has changed, man.
Extremely different.
Extremely different. So I was like, whoa. So that time I was like, perhaps it's him,
Yeah.
not me.
Yeah.
But now when I graduated, that's when I also had to encounter that
Yeah.
experience.
So some of the things you really need to have the experience of them for
Exactly.
you to understand it. Yeah.
Exactly. So I encountered that experience. So when I start to look at that kind of experience, I start to bear some thoughts in me.
Yeah.
I accumulated a lot of thoughts, and I was like, man, what can I do to bring these thoughts so that others can learn, especially those guys who are
back.
who are
Yeah.
back. Yeah. So that's when I started writing a book. I already had an idea, but just because I had no resources at the time, so
Yeah.
I was just putting it into my head until when I got a job and have some money, and I started writing something so that I can produce this book.
Wow, beautiful. And what a beautiful book. What a beautiful book. And one of the things that you talk about in this book is internal and external education. And I highlight that point in my book because I'll go back. I've read this book by I need to go back. It's a lot of insights in this book. You talked about internal and external education. Can you briefly talk to us more about that?
All right. With my experience, what I've noticed is there are two different people: academic and intellectually.
Yeah.
There are others who have internal education, and there are others who have external education. Those who have internal education are those who are okay. Let me just give an example. Like someone who's good at passing, maybe you can pass with a distinction.
Yes.
But to translate those distinction on the ground,
yes,
it's
application.
it's very different. So the others who are, they might not be good in it,
Yes.
maybe in
Academics.
class,
Yeah.
but when they want to produce something on the ground, they're
Yeah,
perfect.
they're perfect.
So that's the difference when I said internal education and external education.
Yeah.
External education is more about outside, whereby others can know and others can see how great you are on the ground. Yeah. So as I've already said, internal is whereby someone is good at himself, not for others. Someone can pass with a distinction, but to help someone with those knowledge, with the knowledge that he had, it may be so difficult for him.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I totally agree with that, and I love that point because the outside world needs service.
Exactly.
You need to serve people.
exactly.
And it's not only about having good grades. You need to be as creative as possible, and you need to bring out something to serve the people,
Exactly.
and they'll pay you for that.
Exactly. And I remember this other time, I was having a discussion with a certain guy.
Yeah.
So he's a very wise person.
Okay.
So he was telling us that, you know what, I do receive a lot of people for interviews. I think he owns a company. So he was like, I do receive a lot of people for interviews. So the others who do come, and when I ask them, can you tell us about yourself, about your academics? So many may come, hey, I did so, and I have a distinction with that. So he always asks, like, so what? Even though you have a degree with distinction, what?
Yes.
Of course, it's very important, but here outside the world, they need those guys who can translate, who can bring that distinction on the ground, bring excellence on the ground.
Talking of excellence, you also mentioned the point in the book.
Yeah.
One of the chapters it talks about funding and vision, the correlation between these two things. So if you are someone who is into external education, which almost everyone needs to be into, Like you can't be restricted to your field of study and you can't be restricted to your paper. There is way beyond that you can do with what you learned
Yeah.
at the university. And you also mentioned that the philosophies you need to apply on the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
So for external education, some of the things that you might venture into are maybe social enterprise,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
business,
Businesses, yeah.
and the thing is, most of the people, the exercise that the excuse that they have is we don't have funding. We don't have funding, and if you ask them what's the thing on the ground or what's your vision, what's your business plan, they don't even
They
have
don't,
it. So can you enlighten us on that because we talked about it.
all right. I think, you know what? To me, I should say to me, uh, your vision can, I would say, can attract some people who can help you to fulfill that vision.
Totally agree with that.
You see, because